You ever feel that weight? That whole rise and grind mentality? You know, that constant nagging pressure to just do more, be more, achieve more, all the time? Well, today we're going to break down how to actually escape that trap. And we're doing it by diving into the key ideas from Harrell Howard's fantastic book, The Hustle Detox. Yep, this entire explainer is based on the Hustle Detox, and it's such a powerful guide for reclaiming your life from what Harrell Howard calls productivity addiction. We're going to unpack all of it, the core concepts, the lies we've all been told, and most importantly, the actual practical steps you can take to build a life that goes way beyond the hustle. I mean, does this sound familiar at all? It's literally the opening scene from the book, and wow, does it just perfectly capture that spell of hustle culture? So many of us know this feeling, right? That weird mix of just total exhaustion, but also this strange sense of pride in pushing ourselves to the absolute limit. But you gotta ask, what's the real cost here? Okay, so to figure out how to get out, we first have to really understand the trap we're in. And according to the book, it all starts with something called the cult of busyness. Just think about it for a second. When someone asks how you are, what's the first thing you say? I bet it's busy, right? We wear our packed schedules like this weird badge of honor, almost as if being busy automatically makes us important, makes us valuable. And that mindset, well, that's the very foundation of the trap. And this is where we see the true price we're paying. And it's so much more than just being tired. We're giving up deep connections with people, we're losing time for creativity, and we're missing out on just simple joy. Our relationships get strained, and here's the really ironic part, our productivity actually goes down. We're running faster and faster, only to fall further behind on the things that actually matter. So, how do we break free from this? Well, the awakening really begins when we start to see through the myths, the lies that keep us on that hamster wheel. Let's unmask the 3 biggest lies of hustle culture. Okay, lie number 1. This one is so powerful because it taps right into our deepest fears of not being good enough. It's that little voice in the back of your head, right? The one whispering that everyone else is getting ahead while you're, what, taking a break? The nerve. But is it actually true? Well, the book argues that the truth is the complete opposite. Think about it. Real progress, those big aha moments, they almost always happen during downtime, when you're in the shower, on a walk. Rest isn't the enemy of progress. It is a vital ingredient for it. Your brain actually needs that space to connect the dots. All right, lie number 2, and this might be the most damaging lie of all. It's such a huge oversimplification, and it just sets us up for failure. It makes us feel guilty and leads to burnout when all our hard work doesn't magically lead to the success we thought we were promised. Because the truth, the reality, is way more complex and honestly, way more freeing. Is hard work part of the puzzle? Absolutely. But it's just one piece. This lie completely ignores so many other huge factors, like luck, timing, privilege, who you know. Recognizing this isn't an excuse, it just helps us be a little kinder to ourselves when things don't go perfectly to plan. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most personal lie. This is the one that ties our very sense of self-worth directly to our to-do list. It's this deep-seated belief that what we produce is who we are. But here is the most important truth in the entire book. Your value as a human being is not up for negotiation. It never has been. It is not tied to your job title or how many emails are in your inbox. It is inherent. You are valuable just because you exist. And that is the absolute core of the Hustle Detox. So, once we've seen the lies for what they are, we can finally start building a new foundation. And this whole process begins with a really essential piece of work, redefining what success actually means to us, not to our boss, not to social media, but to us. So I'm going to ask you directly, just for a second, forget all the outside noise, all the societal pressure. What would a truly successful life look like and feel like if you were the only one writing the definition? And the book gives us a really clear 3-step framework for this. First, you reflect. Think back on the moments that brought you genuine, deep joy and fulfillment. Second, you identify your core values. What are, say, the top 5 non-negotiables in your life? And then the final and most critical step, you align your goals with those values. This is how you make sure you're chasing what actually matters to you. Okay, now this next part might sound a little counterintuitive. Because once you know what real success means to you, the path to get there isn't about doing more. It's actually about mastering the art of doing less. And this comparison really says it all, doesn't it? Hustle culture is the more philosophy. You're spread thin, making a shallow impact on a million different things. The less philosophy, on the other hand, is all about focus, depth, and quality over quantity. It's about making a real, meaningful impact on the few things that truly align with your values. And look, here are some awesome practical ways to actually do this. First, a commitment audit. Go through your commitments and be ruthless about cutting out what doesn't align with your values. Second, learn to say no. Seriously, it's a superpower that protects your time and energy. And my personal favorite, embrace JOMO. Not FOMO, but JOMO, the joy of missing out. It's about being content, finding peace in knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. All right, and that brings us to the final piece of the path forward. And honestly, it might be the most radical idea in this whole detox: reframing rest. Not as weakness, not as laziness, but as an act of personal resistance. So let's really redefine this. Rest is not a reward you get after you've worked yourself to the point of breaking. It is essential maintenance, like changing the oil in your car. It's a fundamental act of self-respect, and it's the prerequisite for pretty much everything else you want to do in life. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. It's such a powerful idea. It means that every single time you consciously choose to rest, you are actively pushing back against a culture that desperately wants to define you by your output. It's like your own quiet, personal revolution. And take a look at these examples of true rest. Notice what they all have in common. There's no goal. None of these are about self-improvement or optimizing your life. They are simply about being. That is what true restorative rest feels like. And it's the kind of rest our brains and our bodies are absolutely starving for. So if you take away only one thing, let it be this. This is the ultimate truth of the hustle detox. You are more than what you produce. Your worth isn't in your output, it's in your existence. Period. So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't just about understanding all this stuff. It's about what you're going to do with it. So I'll leave you with this. What's one small, real thing you can do this week to start reclaiming your life from the hustle?